was in a good mood to keep Jimmy G.
So I'm gonna talk about the perspective first before I talk about how I think about this. So it could be two reasons why they kept him. One, if they don't trust Trey Lance, that could be the first reason they don't trust him, and they think that he may mess up sometime this year, and they're going to switch and go back to Jimmy G. That's the one that I think it's either they don't trust him or they don't trust the backups either. You know, because you got I think we let go Nate Sutfield and we have Brock Purdy back there who had a pretty good preseason, but you know he going against second and third string because we don't think that's going to be he going to be able to play that way against the first stringers. The other one is they restructured his contract so that he's more tradable now that he's able to throw, and he's cheaper. They could probably get maybe a third or a fourth for him, just because he's healthy. You know, some quarterback's going to get hurt sometime soon, and somebody might get desperate and want to get Jimmy G. Now, I think that they did this basically just because of the contract. Because when he first got injured, when he got injured, he didn't immediately get surgery right when the offseason started. He waited until it got close to minicamp and he got surgery. He did that for a reason, because him and his agent wanted to make sure that they were still on the team. They didn't want him to get traded to just a random team. They wanted to put him in the best position possible to win. That was before Deshaun. That was before the Browns had traded for Deshaun Watson. That was a destination that he was going to go to because they didn't believe in Baker Mayfield, and a lot of people would say that Jimmy G's what Baker 2.0 maybe. Um, so, but I'll say this though, I don't think Jimmy G is a bad quarterback, but he is not the answer for your franchise. I'll put it that way. His completion percentage is good in the regular season. He's 68%, almost 70% completion percentage in the regular season. That's not the issue. The issue is when it comes to playoff time. He's only 58% completion percentage in playoffs, and we all know that we were able to make it to the Super Bowl with him only throwing 8 passes against the Vikings in the playoffs. So that's because we didn't trust him. He made one throw that was questionable, and they were like, "All right, look, we just gonna you only gonna throw the ball 8 times this game. We're gonna run the ball heavy because they can't stop the run anyway." So, and then they traded 3 first round picks for Trey Lance to be able to get his opportunity to start. He only started 2 games last year, and that's because of injury. Last year to Jimmy G. He didn't play well in the first game against the Cardinals, but he was thrown in that game. He didn't really have time to prepare for that game. He played better when we played against the Texans. This preseason he played pretty well, other than the last game against the Texans. Preseason he only played 2 drives. It wasn't that well, but I believe that Trey Lance is the answer for our franchise. He has a better arm. He's a bigger threat when it comes to everything else that the offense runs around. It's the West Coast offense, so you want to be able to run the ball with your quarterback or your running back. It's kind of like how it was when they had RG3. Now
Woo.
I think he's bigger than RG3, so he can take hits and he also knows how to slide. So we don't have to worry about that. But when I first heard it, I was upset because I was like, all right, they don't believe in Trey. They want Jimmy G to pretty much stay on the team, but I think they're doing it because they still want to get some value from him. They didn't want to just cut him, although it would have saved them 26 million if they just cut him before the season started. They still were able to save 17 million because he only has 6.5 million guaranteed. So they were still able to save some money. That money's gonna go to Nick Bosa because he's due for a contract, and then that'll help out with Trey. And plus, he's a good backup. So if something does happen to Trey as far as like injury, you got Jimmy G that can step in and help out, and that could boost his trade value as well. So that's
Mhm.
my team.
So I know you said when you first heard it. So how you feel now?
Yeah, I feel like now they only did it just because of the contract, and so he can have good trade value, so they can get something from him.
But are you okay with that though?
Yeah, I'm still mixed feelings about it, but I'm going to be I'll be okay with it.
Now, question: is it the right decision to keep him?
I think it wasn't the right decision to keep him, but I understand it. You
All
don't you traded a second round pick for him, you want to get something for him, so I get it. I think it was a bad move, but hey,
Now, I think that good move for Jimmy, not a good move for y'all. And the reason why is because so Jimmy G, he had an injury, obviously, and like he said, he had surgery during the off, like right before training camp, basically. And now he gets a year to just 100% heal. That's how I look at it. While being the highest paid backup QB.
facts.
Not only that, he has a no trade clause on his contract. So they can't just ship him to anywhere he wants. He will be truly a free agent after this season. He can go anywhere he wants.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So that's that. That's good for Jimmy G. The reason why it's bad, I think, for for Kyle Shanahan, let me use him. And I love Kyle Shanahan. I remember last year you was mad at Kyle Shanahan. Remember that? I was like, hey Dave, y'all good. Yeah, you
I
like Kyle
was
Shanahan.
highly upset. I was calling us to fire him
Yeah.
and hire Eric Bieniemy. Even though I
Yeah.
still like Bieniemy, I still think he deserves a job in the NFL. But
Now with Kyle,
I am okay with Kyle staying there. I'm glad he's there because now he has a weapon that he can use in Trey Lance, and I just can't wait to see it.
now let me tell you why it's a bad decision. All right. Number one, you said it. Y'all gave up 3 first-round picks to get this guy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I look at the Alex Smith situation. I think it's a good example. Kaepernick and Alex Smith. Alex Smith is like a Jimmy G, literally, right? But probably better. Yeah,
I think Alex Smith is better.
Right.
He was able to run the ball, so he was better fit for West Coast offense.
The only difference is Alex Smith didn't get them to the Super Bowl. All right, he never did that. But Alex Smith was a winnable player. Like look at his win percentage. He's one of the most winningest, whatever the hell you said. QBs during his tenure as a quarterback. And when they brought in Kaepernick, they knew they had Kaepernick. You know, he came in, but it was different though because he came in and he actually started playing good. And then once they knew they were rolling with Kaepernick, they got rid of Alex Smith immediately. They got rid of him because what's going to happen is you promised yourself to this guy because you gave these picks up for him. This is his first year starting in the league. So there's a high chance that he might have a bad start. And then when he has a bad start, not saying he will, if he has a bad start, the media is going to get involved. All right? They're going to be talking, should have kept Jimmy G. And guess what? People in the locker room is going to start feeling a certain way. We should have kept Jimmy G because at the end of the day, they trying to win right now. They got a roster for right now because y'all were there last year and 2 years before last year. So my thing is, you look at Aaron Rodgers and Brett Favre. Once Aaron Rodgers became the starter, Brett Favre, you gone. See ya. That's every situation. I think it's the first time I ever seen a QB who actually led them to the NFC Championship and got benched the next year just because the guy you drafted was ready. It had nothing to do with Jimmy G's performance. It had everything to do with we think he's ready. So if he's ready, roll with him and get rid of Jimmy G.
Yeah.
Right? That's how I look at it. So I think they keep they just love Jimmy G. Jimmy G must be a good guy. He must be. He must be a good locker room guy. I don't know. He's not. I mean,
I'll get on there. I'm gonna let you finish, but I'll
okay.
get on.
I know I heard stories from the Pats when they were saying stuff about Jimmy G. But I know the 49ers, like John Lynch gave him a big old hug after he threw the interception and lost the game. You know, so they love Jimmy G. You know, so and he looking at it as there are 32 starters in the NFL and we got 2 of them. But I mean, having 2 starting QBs, what's the point of that? I mean, that means you were anticipating that Trey Lance is going to either get hurt or you anticipating like if he plays bad, I want to bench him, which would be a bad move. If Trey Lance start off bad and you put Jimmy G back in the game, that's going to be a terrible move. You got to just roll with Trey Lance because you already made your decision and you gave up these picks for him. So
you said it's his team, so you got to roll with him.
You got to roll with it, you know. And then you were so excited. This is the guy. You conned the whole league, man. Everybody seemed like you want to get Mac Jones, right? But all along, y'all try to make this feud. Remember they were saying John Lynch and Kyle Shanahan weren't agreeing with each other, but the whole time they both wanted Trey Lance.
Mm-hmm.
So You gotta roll with your guy. So that's my take on it. I think it's a bad move. I think they should have got rid of Jimmy G.
Now, as far as Jimmy G being a good locker room guy,
Okay.
he's great when it comes with the players during the season. In the off season, he doesn't contact anybody. They've said this multiple times. Coaches are trying to contact him during the off season. He doesn't answer his phone. George Kittle jokes about it, but he says that it's real. He doesn't answer his phone. He doesn't reach out to teammates. He doesn't talk to the new players and nothing like that. He doesn't do any of those things. That's why players in the Patriots didn't like him, and that's why players like Brandon Ayuk was happy that Trey Lance was coming in, because he's like, hey, at least someone I can actually, because this whole offseason, Trey Lance and Brandon Ayuk were training together the entire offseason. So they had some chemistry that was built up. Now, of course, it would have been the same thing with Debo, but he had a contract situation. He was talking about he wanted to be traded, but really he just wanted the money. He believed he deserved the money because he wanted to be able to get paid, because he's more than just a wide receiver. He's a wide back, a term that he came up with. He's able to do He's able to do it all. He can do a kick return, punt return. He's a good receiver, and he can play running back as well. But Jimmy G he's a good locker room guy during the season only, and he's not really a study guy either. So just because of that, I would have did what every other team has did when it came to the situation. I would have traded him away. I don't care what I would. And honestly, I believe they were offered a second round pick for him before, and they rejected it. They wanted
a second round pick, and they rejected it.
They wanted 2 second round picks for him, and I was like, no, he's not.
What are they tripping?
Yeah, so I would have let him go. Got off that contract and been able to. You would have been able to sign Debo at that time, because you would have had $27 million freed up, and you'd have been able to sign Nick Bosa as well. So
they were offered a second round pick for him.
They were offered a second round pick for him, and they rejected because they wanted 2 second round picks.
Oh, they tripping. But Jimmy G couldn't get traded though, because he was hurt. He was hurt, and nobody was going to trade for him. And then by the time he had the surgery, he was ready to get traded. You had teams like the Seahawks. Who else out there? The Seahawks. The Browns already signed Jacoby Brissett. You know, but the Seahawks. Why trade for him when your team is not ready? You know, it's kind of like a waste of a trade, because you got to give up some draft capital. They have a lot of draft capital from the Broncos, so they're going to use that to rebuild their squad, find their quarterback maybe, you know. But trading for a quarterback, the only time you should trade for a quarterback when your team is ready.
Exactly. And Jimmy G, like I said, Jimmy G is not
make the playoffs.
Jimmy G will help your team make the playoffs, but he ain't getting you. He ain't gonna help you win a Super Bowl. That's my
yeah. The Seahawks come get Jimmy G. They ain't making the playoffs. They got the Rams to worry about, 49ers to worry about. You know, same division. And
plus,
then
I don't think we would have traded him within our division either, because we don't like the Seahawks at all. So there's no point of us trading him within the division. So I didn't see that happening. The only way the Seahawks would have got him is if we cut him. If we cut him, then he probably would have had a chance to go to Seattle. Other than that, I doubt it.
I doubt if you want to go there. You want to go there. So, all right, cool. Jimmy G, staying with the 49ers. All right. So next we got to talk about this guy, Pat Bev. Does he upgrade the Lakers? We'll talk about it when we come back. Thank you for staying to the end. If you're watching this on YouTube, please like this video, subscribe, and also hit that notification button so you can be notified next time we put out a video. If you're listening on any podcast platform, subscribe and hit that notification button, y'all, so you can be notified we put out another podcast audio. And last but not least, hit that share button. No matter what you're listening to or watching it, hit that share button and send it to somebody that you know that would love to watch this episode you just listened to. So once again, thank you for staying to the end, and we'll see y'all in the next episode.